Good morning. It's 8:03 a.m. on Wednesday, July 15th, 2020. I'm Christiana Ellis and I just got up. This is 5 more minutes. Just got up is a little bit misleading. My routine with Rocket lately has been he wakes me up at 5 a.m. and then we go outside and he eats breakfast and then I go back to bed. I just got up the second time. I was up late last night because we were just sort of riding high after a fun session of so many levels where I'm so pleased and proud with the party. We've been going since level 1 and now everybody's level 20 and taking on um, the hardest created creatures in the game. Got a big huge tough combat where everyone had to work together and do their cool stuff, and they were victorious, and it's all just good. Rocket, come on, bud. Chewing on a cardboard box again. You know, instead of the 500 things that would be totally cool for him to chew on. But yeah, so it was a fun session last night. It just goes to show that they're one of the things that I just kind of was reflecting on is how just by virtue of their decisions and of course the story that I'm presenting to them, they are kind of going around making very powerful enemies, right? And then occasionally, like their whole reason they were fighting this particular enemy was in order to satisfy. So one enemy took out an infernal hit on their family members. They don't like that. So they go and they talk to the devil that character made the bargain with and said, "Okay, well if you take out one of his enemies who's also a bad guy, then he'll forgive that contract." And but now now that they've just taken out, they've just fought this huge enemy, and now he's going to be mad. So they're just kind of climbing the ladder of having ultra powerful nemesis. Of course, they were victorious. So, but it's a reflection on the one hand, you could look at it as like, oh, they just keep making more and more enemies. But on the other hand, they're making evil enemies by being out in the world trying to do good. Of course, they've actually talked about how it's, you know, if the reason, like, are they risking themselves when they need to do really important world saving stuff in order to just save a handful of family members that they care about? Well, I feel like the tension in that is just good storytelling, right? I think that's fun. Anyway, yeah, it was a good session last night, and so um, we were up late. I was a little wired, but yeah, it's it's good stuff. I like playing role playing games with my friends, um, and it's kind of just amazing how far they've come in that campaign. But at the same time, I'm kind of looking around at some of the other games out there. I think it's definitely valuable and important to once people have got the bug for tabletop role playing games. Dungeons and Dragons is a good game in my opinion, although there are some questions that have been raised. So certainly historically there have been many elements of the original games that didn't age well, and there's been some statements to the effect from Wizards of the Coast, who owns the game now, that they're trying to make that better. But then there's also been some questions raised about how much that might be kind of just words and whether they're really living up to that or not. Um, that's complicated, and I'm not going to get into it casually here. But suffice it to say, what I will say is, whether you love Dungeons and Dragons or whether you find it, you know, not to your taste, or whether you have other issues, I would urge you to look around because there's so many other good games. And so learning more about this one, Burn Bright, been playing After the War. So many good ones. So I like role playing games. So I'm going to leave it there, and I will talk to you all tomorrow for 5 more minutes.